Hello, everybody. This is your girl, Tammy T, and welcome back to the Curve Effect with Tammy T. And today I am joined by a dear friend of mine. He's a faith leader, a speaker, and he is the founder of the I Am a Testimony apparel brand. My friend, Mr. John McClung. Hey, John.
What what's going on, Tammy T? How you doing?
I'm good, my friend. A long time no see. How you been?
Oh, listen, I've been extremely well. As my word would be, it would be amazing, and I have no complaints. All is well.
Awesome. I'm so happy to have you. Thank you so much for agreeing to join me. Um, when I got this podcast, I knew you were one of the people that I needed to have on the show because this podcast embodies things that I love. I love fashion and I love the Lord, and you are, hey, you encompass that. So thank you again for joining me. Okay.
Wow, listen, it's an honor, seriously, to be a part of your show, especially knowing where you're in those stages or that season of getting started, and to be one of your first guests over a few that you've had. I'm excited to be a part of this.
Oh, thank you. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna get started. First, we're gonna talk about how I met you, and I met you on the fashion side of things. You do quite a few things, but I met you on the fashion end. So we're gonna go into I Am a Testimony brand and
Absolutely.
how did that come about? Because I mean, it's an awesome brand. The name is awesome, the looks are awesome, but how did you come up with that?
Well, I can't take credit. It's a God idea, and it's a God idea through circumstance. Actually, in 2009, I unfortunately was going through what I would consider a traumatic divorce, and during the course of that, because of how things were, I had an opportunity to be a co-host. Now, this is in 2009 for a podcast, and back then they didn't. It really wasn't in video; it was all radio, more or over the airwaves, more or less. And
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the show, I would always say, "I am a testimony." And
Mm,
at about 2 years later, maybe a year and a half year later, I'm sitting in. The Lord says, "That's going to be your brand or your business." And I'm
mm,
like, sometimes when we hear the Lord, we fight because I didn't know anything about apparel, but I dove in 2010. I started with a little small T-shirt, but once I realized what the brand was actually representing in 2011, I actually made it a business in May of 2011, and I have been building it ever since. So it got established in 2011 based on a scenario that was challenging and became a testimony because I certainly ain't in the same situation I was back then.
no, you are absolutely not. You definitely are a testimony. Let me ask you this. So when you were building this brand, because in the fashion industry, faith-based, they kind of, there was a time when people shied away from,
Absolutely.
faith-based, you don't want to alienate your audience or whatever. Did you get any pushback when you was trying to get your brand out?
That's a great question. For the first 2 years, I sold nothing. I
Oh,
built it
wow.
from a standpoint of relationships. So I wanted to learn the business first before I dove in. I had a couple of young ladies. I was actually started the business in Detroit when I lived there. And a couple of
Hmm.
young ladies were starting theirs at the same time. And they were, kind of helping me through as far as how to print and, these things. I had one little simple design that took me out of the basement to, being able to do some things. But I will say, in reference to the question you just asked, it is very challenging in the faith-based apparel industry from a standpoint of people really identifying with what they're going through. And
Hmm.
as listen, as great a God idea this is, it is still challenging for people to wear I Am a Testimony because I don't know in most cases. Oh, absolutely. Because listen, my goal when I in 2011 I wrote this list. My goal was to be the number one apparel brand because I thought there is no way no one could not wear it based on every situation or every person goes through something and has a
Right.
testimony. So, but yeah, it's been an amazing journey. Like I said, the first 2 years, Tammy, I didn't sell a thing, and I tore up a whole bunch of shirts trying to learn this
Oh,
business. But
oh, wow.
over time, over time, I wrote my list down as far as everything that I wanted to kind of like create or design. I asked the Lord if you can do anything as from a standpoint of giving me whatever it is, but whatever you do, don't take away my creativity, Lord. And so I could be having a big imagination on what I want to design and everything. And I promise you, everything that I wrote on my list in 2011 that I wanted to design, I have it in my repertoire today.
Really? Yeah, you got some nice.
Absolutely,
Yeah, you
from
got
the
some
ground
nice.
to the crown, girl. From the ground to the
Ground
crown.
to the crown. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah,
That is what's up. I'm surprised that people are still having. I mean, that you still got to put with everything that's going on and everything that people are going through. You would think that you would be just everybody. You just chest out with I am a
they
testimony.
will, but they will.
They will.
Think about this, and I think you and I understand this, especially when you've been given this great responsibility and great idea. A lot of times it's you that get in the way because
Well, yeah.
because you know what I'm saying, because the belief in it, the whether or not
Hmm.
it's going to work and all, and then you are the only one working on it. So
Yeah.
sometimes you can get overwhelmed, or when things ain't going your way. But
Hmm.
I am in a season right now
Hmm.
where I think the Lord is like opening opportunities for really, and a lot of times we think things are going to take off right away, and it might take. Some people might dive in there as quicker, some may take longer, because you have to
Right.
prepare yourself. And
Right.
so I think the Lord has allowed me to prepare myself to what's about to happen.
Okay. Yeah. I believe that because I feel the same way about myself. And one thing I did, and through you, actually, you are one of the people where I was like, okay, the Lord is in everything and his hand is in everything. So there's a way for me to encompass my love for him as well as my love for fashion, some type of way. Now, it took me some years to figure out how I'm going to put all of that together. But
Right.
you were a big, big influence on me realizing that I can still, because I was going to quit because I knew that
Mm,
I knew that there was something that I needed to do for God, but I didn't think I could do it and still remain in fashion. But coming across you, I was like, okay, so there is a way to encompass all of this because God's hand is in everything, right?
absolutely. And I think because we are in this industry, and I got in it from a standpoint of the fashion part, from the walks and the shows. I got in it late, recently in the last
Hmm.
couple of years, because I was developing the apparel to be appealing in both scenarios. Because my thing is, I promised myself, and I know you know this. I promised myself I would wear no one else's apparel, no other designer, no nothing, because I could design it. And when you see me, you never see me in any, unless it's a pair of jeans, and I'm working on that. But you never see me in anybody else's stuff.
I, I
And
always see
so
you. Yeah.
and I think that's what changed it, because now my first outing was with Beat Inks, and it
Hmm.
shocked everybody because they didn't know that I had that kind of apparel and fashion going on, and then that just opened the floodgates. So since then, the last 3 years, I've been start custom designing because of what you just said, because there are a lot of, especially women, and I know it's guys
Hmm.
too, but especially women. There's the apparel spiritually doesn't always appeal because there's no one's doing it. It's
Right.
you wearing a fashion design and all the other names, but one of my things is wear your story, not your status.
There you
So
go. There you
so yeah,
go.
so hey, listen, that blue dress piece that you got put on, what's up.
Boy, that thing there is massive.
Woo!
Yeah,
You
that
walked
blue.
down that first time you walked in that was like everybody was like, oh
Every,
no.
it was, yeah, that was like a crowd pleaser. Like I
Yeah,
felt like you had me feeling like a celebrity. That was great.
absolutely.
But yeah, but we do have a couple of pieces that we're going to show so everybody can
Mm,
see exactly what we're talking about. So we got
yeah.
um yeah, so we got Sanquan gonna throw a couple of pieces up, photos I put up
Okay.
there for you, so you can
Awesome.
give us a. I don't know which ones he gonna put up though, but we gonna see.
Oh, hey, listen, that one ain't that's what I call the CEO piece. That's just for me. So So I have one of the things that I did over the first 2 years was develop relationship with vendors both across the water and here locally, where I could actually do certain work, or they could do the work for me, and then I, do some work in the background. So this was one of the vendors had these available, and I was like, you know what, I got shoes to go with every color. So this is the tie dye with the brand from a standpoint of uh, your brand is based on your deliverance. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's one of the ones that's actually kind of new. So I got like 5 of them that I wear, and and my wife, I set her up with it too.
I know y'all be twins when I see
Every
y'all.
once in a while, yeah, you got to have somebody else look good too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, and I can't. Let's see. I don't know if there's another one up because I can't see. Um,
Oh, that's a one of a kind piece right there.
which one?
Now, that one that if you can't see it, I can see it. It's the plaid rose um, dust
With the
hurt.
red,
Now remember,
the
yeah,
red, the one,
the
the
red,
picture of me
yeah,
in the red. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
in red. Oh yeah, that was the first. That was my first fashion show that I did strictly. I am a testimony, and a lot,
Hmm.
and I think that took some people by surprise that I had that many pieces to where I could do a show by myself. And so
Oh yeah.
yeah, that was you wore this one, huh? That was one of the. Remember, matter of fact, a lot that is a dust hurt. So instead of DUSTER, it's
H
DUSTHER.
E R. Okay, cool.
HER. So all of those two pieces are dust hers, and I got I think maybe 12 different versions, but I can create as many as I like.
Mm, yeah, because I know there was one at that show. A lady, the dress. It was like the tie dye dress. That lady, I think she bought it. She
You bought
bought
it?
it
Yeah,
before. She bought it because she was first.
yeah,
She was nice enough to ask me was I gonna buy it, and I
yeah.
was like, when I said no, it was over with. She was like, okay.
Hey, listen, I think I left with maybe 4 pieces because everybody was trying to buy theirs in the back room. I was like, man, what's going on?
I am
Yeah,
a testimony.
yeah,
I am a
for real.
testimony. Yeah, and I was really happy, and I was very honored to be able to participate in that show. And I'm honored to always be able to work with you. Again,
Yeah,
your pieces are gorgeous. Um, and for the guys, you have like the
yeah.
urban wear. You got the hoodies, and then you also have the cufflinks. So you
Oh,
have
yeah, yeah,
you got something for everybody. So
absolutely.
yeah, so and I think you're awesome. I appreciate that. I appreciate
Well,
again. I appreciate you because what you do is not just it's of course it's apparel, it's clothing, it's fashion, it's good to look at, but it has a message way deeper than some may think. Like you said, like I said, you helped me realize that I can do what I do and still glorify the Lord and doing exactly what I'm doing. So, you know,
it,
if you
and I
didn't
think
know,
that
now you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Well, thank you. Well, listen, I'm glad I'm part of your journey, and I know that again that balance. I don't think. As a matter of fact, the models that have been a part of the shows and have worn the clothes, the compliments from a standpoint of being for the first time in a spiritual fashion show, or
Hmm.
as I say, fashion experience, right? Because it is an
Yeah.
experience, when we work together,
Hmm.
and that I think that in itself says a lot because how cool is it to actually wear something that you can grace yourself in, you can look good, it's appealing, it can still show your curves and everything, but it has a great message to it, and
Hmm.
everybody who has worn it, especially the models and things like that, can identify with it. And you guys always talk about your stories, and and give we always with the group. I always say, just share your testimony with me and let me know so I know how to design or how to dress you up.
Design the clothes. Yeah,
So
yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, and then you got the accessories, you got the bags and
Oh
the
yeah, oh
purses.
yeah,
So
oh
I mean,
absolutely.
yeah, you got the duffel
And
bags that match the jackets and the purses. You know, you the man. you know, you that guy.
listen, I think it's overwhelming sometimes, Tammy, because people in the background, for every designer that I do know and that we've worked with, people don't really know what happens as far as putting things together, the type of designer you are. And I custom, now I'm in the place where I can customize so many different things. And a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times you can get carried away from the standpoint of knowing what's available to you to do, to where
Mm-hmm.
you can do too much and it can be overwhelming because you don't know what to
Right.
choose from.
But
So
you're
that's
trying to
where
do
I'm at right.
everything.
Absolutely. That's where I'm at right now. So I'm kind of, I had to scale back and then piece it out,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I'm doing now.
Okay, but you still have, like, if we see something, like if somebody saw the picture of the red flower
Mhm.
duster, if somebody
Yeah.
wanted that, you could still get that piece
Oh yeah.
for
Oh
them.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, or
Oh,
have that
absolutely.
piece.
All of those pieces that I don't know if you can see it, but the pieces that I'm looking at right now, the purple dress, the two-piece blazer and wide leg set, the black 3/4 hoodie,
Hmm.
uh, jacket, and then of course my custom all over duster that our girl is wearing with the bag, the matching bag to go with it.
Oh,
All of that is
uh-huh.
custom work. So everything is custom from scratch from a standpoint of having the templates and being able to design it. And so
Hmm.
even if they went to the website and didn't see it, they could, and they said, "Listen, I saw this," then yeah, I can, and I can do it in any color.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So again, these are some amazing pieces, and I can't wait to see what you got next, because you got sneakers, you got your sneakers, you got, I mean, you got
Ooh.
everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been holding back. I'm telling you, I've really held back from a point of what I'm able to put out because I want to really be ready because there's no, in all honesty, from all the things that I've been fortunate enough to have in place, and it took me 2 years to get the software in place to be able to customize work with the company I'm working with, and
Hmm.
a lot of things that I could do right now, I hold off because it's amazing what I have access to designing. And so
Okay.
I'm working on spring, summer because I have a swimsuit edition too. That's amazing.
Oh, we doing a fashion show?
We
We doing
doing
a
a
show?
fashion, we doing a show.
Okay.
I had to put it off at least 1 month because I was going to do it at the end of April, but I said, you know what, let me push it back because the way that the team wants to film it and everything, because of the work that I put in for it, yeah, I got some
Hmm.
stuff coming.
Oh, oh, snap.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
okay, swimsuits. I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's
yeah.
go. Just call me.
Oh,
Just
hey,
call me.
listen, one thing I always know is I got one special for my girl Tammy
You
in the
do.
show.
You do.
For real.
Oh God, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so yeah, you got me. I ain't know we was doing swimsuits. Like
Nobody,
I
well,
didn't.
see, listen, that's an exclusive for your show coming out.
Oh, I'm the first. I am the
You're the
first.
first.
Oh man,
You
I
are
feel
the
so
first.
special.
Absolutely. I've never
Yeah.
talked about it till this moment.
Oh man, I'm excited. I can't wait. You know I'm there. You just let me know
Oh,
when, and I will be there.
absolutely.
Just like, all right. So you are and we're gonna move, because we could talk about this fashion thing. We could sit here for 2 hours and talk about the fashion, but you got some other things that that you do.
Yes.
You are a glossophobia coach, and
Yes.
glossophobia, I just learned, is the fear of public speaking.
That's right.
And this is something that you help people overcome in different ways. So can you go into a little more into that, about, like, not, it's not always, like you said, just standing in front of a group of people. So
Sure.
how does that, just go into that for me.
Oh, absolutely. So the majority of individuals who believe or who are in a experience where they are going to speak in front of people, whether it's at work, a group, class, you know, usually they begin to get anxiety or panic because most individuals, it is the number one or in the top two of things of being fearful of is the fear of public speaking, and we often hear a lot of it amazing coaches talk about while you're on stage. but how do you get there from a point of the beginning of even knowing how to position yourself to overcome that, because
Hmm.
there are individuals who can't have one-on-one conversations because they have the fear of talking to somebody about something they're going through. So, over the years, I was fortunate enough, of course, to grow up as a preacher's kid, and so I've been around speaking all of my life, and I knew that what I learned in my youth, as far as my father teaching my brother and I how to lay out a sermon or a message or presentation, there's four major steps that that are mine, that I teach, that can
Hmm.
go across anything, whether it's products, services, or speaking. And if you can master, or at least integrate this into you going forward in a speaking capacity, then you will be able to do a lot. And that's just have a message, know your message, include people in your message, and make sure they leave with something from your message. And if you can
Okay.
do those four things, you can break down, all of those. There's some other steps, of course, that go on, from a teaching aspect and presentation. But think about it. If you have a service, know your service, include people in your service, make sure they leave with something from your service. If you have a product, know your product, include people in your product, make sure they leave with something from your product. You can do those four things. You can encompass it in anything. So when it comes to speaking, if you know your message, from a point of whatever your expert, whatever you want to be an expert in from a standpoint of speaking about it, you need to know
Hmm.
it. Because people are going to call you on the carpet, or however, whomever you're in front of, they either may know something about it, or they're there to learn something about it. And you need to
Right.
master to position yourself to where whatever you're going to speak of, you need to know it. You need to include people in it. And, when I was a kid, my dad, when he would finish a sermon and we go home and have dinner, he would always ask my brother, well, they give me two things that were in the message today. And that has stuck with me for nearly 60 years, from a point of, if I ever have a conversation in front of people, I know that if in any time they can tell me something that I spoke about, then I've done my job.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that is extremely important. If people don't leave your presentation or conversation or message or workshop with some information or some knowledge, you didn't do your job. So you need to master that. Make sure people leave with something that you're talking about.
Okay. So, a lot of that would have to do with having the confidence in what you're speaking about.
Absolutely.
Like, so, because a lot of times you can get people that'll stand in front of a group and not know, wrong, just wrong, and don't know what they're talking about. But if they sound like they know what they're talking about, if they can sound like they know what they're talking about, they will get the whole room to follow them, and they could be dead wrong.
And listen, there are people who have talked about bad information and made it sound good.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, a lot of
For
that
real.
has yeah, a lot of that has to do with, like you said, the confidence you have, and you could be accurate and knowledgeable, but if you don't sound confident, then nobody's gonna believe what you say.
That's absolutely correct. And I think that's one of the things that, when you are overcoming a fear, especially when we're talking about, of course, speaking,
Hmm.
the courage and confidence, as well as the knowledge and know-how, all come together. And again, if you are in that space where you are learning this, then there's some things about you that you have to get through.
Yeah, that's true. That also can translate to the runway, because if you're not confident and you nervous, the whole room will know it.
You'll mess some shoes up.
The entire room will know that she's scared. She must be new. Oh, this must be
Yeah,
her first time.
absolutely,
Yeah. All
absolutely.
right. And you also have on social media, on Facebook, you have your Breaking Biblical Bread.
Yes, yes, I've had
Uh,
that for. I've had that. I'm in my second or third year, and I do it every Monday. I started out with one called Spiritual Message Moments, which I did 5 years and for 5 years straight, and then I had the podcast, the Upper Vision Room podcast show, in between there, which is my studio. My studio is named the Upper Vision Room in my house, and I
mhm.
created a podcast show for 2 years. and basically I just kind of migrated, and that's, I'm in ministry either way, so that's kind of like the DNA and second nature.
Oh, well, yeah, of course, of course. So I'm gonna go back to your creative juices.
Hmm.
Uh, how difficult is it for you, or is it difficult for you to come up with your creations? Does it just, or do you sit there, do you ponder, or if it just hits you, or if you see a certain woman and you're like, okay, this would look good on her, or this would fit this person? How do you, I mean, I would assume that it would be easier for you with men because you are a man, but it may not be. I'm just assuming. But when you, how difficult is that?
So I used to be a design. Well, I was a designer that would try to balance both men and women.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized that women wear clothing way more than guys do. They're more into fashion, right? So I started to focus the my templates toward women from a point of, I see more women in church wearing other designers, right? Because they
Mm-hmm.
don't have a spiritual clothing item that they really can walk in that speaks to what they're dealing with. It has no message whatsoever. No designer from a point of high end has no message. It just has status. So that's what I started to do. Initially, it was difficult from a point of trying to figure out, your colors, your patterns, what would look good, what would fit good. And my other challenge was, would it be, how tough will it seem to be sexy in faith-based apparel? Because
That
I
blue,
got some sexy stuff.
yeah, that
And
blue.
so that was, so in reference to your question, that was the hard one. The create part
Mm-hmm.
was, how will it be to have some fitting apparel that's faith-based and it looks amazing
Mm-hmm.
and you're comfortable in it. And so once I got past that part, oh, it was a home run after that.
Yeah, I know because you know that, and we keep bringing up that blue outfit because it's a beautiful, beautiful outfit, and but you can't wear that one to church.
And
Uh,
if you do,
if
you
I
got to
put
know
so,
how.
you got to know how. You can't wear
You
it
got
the
to know
way
how.
I wore it. You
Right?
can't wear it the way I wore it.
You can go out in it though. You can, you and I,
You
you
wear it
can
to the
go out in
beach.
it.
Yeah,
Come on.
but you know, you could put a nice pair of pants up actually under the skirt, and and you could, yeah, you could work it and make it churchable, but
Yeah.
not like that.
Yeah. Nobody would believe if you were out at an amazing restaurant or wherever you are, and you walk in that with a matching bag, because I can create a matching bag to go with it, because you had that hat was a cold boy, and you tell them what the name of, or what the designer is, they would be like, "What?
Yeah, it's all right.
Too, that's too
I'm
sexy
like
for
right
that."
there on the shoulder. See, I have a testimony.
Yeah. So that was probably, when it comes to creating, that was probably the piece that I was probably that I was dealing with
Mhm,
was, God, man, this stuff is sexy, but it, for me, not
mhm,
one female model has ever come back to me and said, I don't like that they wore,
mm,
or it didn't feel good, or every model
mm,
has all said, "Ah, this is amazing. This, John, this feels." So when I had when I had the opportunity to work with all the models that I have, and just the feedback has been awesome. And you were in that room when I had those two racks of clothes, and everybody got a chance to pick out all the outfits that they were going to wear.
mhm.
It spoke for itself.
Yeah, yeah, because we were trying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All I can say is, yeah, I completely agree because again, your items are your garments are beautiful. They have a message, and uh, they are sexy, you know, but they're sexy to the point where they're tasteful and they're classy as well.
That's the part. That's the
Yeah,
part right
and
there.
yeah, and I'm all about sexy class. That's my thing, That's the sexy, classy, elegant type of thing, and that's where your garments come in at. And again, the message is the beautiful. The clothing is beautiful. You got something for our guys, you know, the hoodies, and again, that you go from hoodies, the cufflinks to sneakers, the duffel bags, so that caps. So you are You doing it. You are doing it, and I am just over the moon to be able to be one of your models. I love it. I love everything your brand. I love your brand, and I love what you stand for. And I am just so honored to have you on my show, my friend.
So, hey, listen, the honor is mine, and to say to be able to share something of this magnitude. And again, I think one of the things for me is if you really are going to have a ministry in apparel, you need to identify with the ministry you're in. And so being a
Hmm.
testimony is definitely something I can identify with.
Right.
So I've been fortunate to be blessed with this.
And that's something that everybody can identify with, whether they want to admit it or not. You know, and a lot of times the message in your clothing is I am. Sometimes it makes them think back and reflect. I am a testimony. Because they have these on. So again, your message is much deeper than just the logo on the shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so if anybody wants to purchase, reach out to you for any type of anything. But how can anybody reach you for on social media? What's your social media website? How can we reach you?
So, of course, if you look up John McClung Jr., you'll find me that way, and that's on the Facebook, Instagram, and I think TikTok as well is under I Am a Testimony or Mister I Am a Testimony. And so if you look for apparel, it's I Am a Testimony Apparel.com. And again, I have scaled back on my website because I'm actually rebuilding and dropping more new stuff from a standpoint of designing, because I had like 200 different items, and people were trying to find stuff, and I'm like, you know what, let me slow down. So
Hmm.
I'm a testimony apparel.com. I have the basic stuff there right now, hoodies, t-shirts, and things like that. And I'm gonna start adding up the other things as well.
Okay. All right. Um, so what advice or what word of encouragement you would give to someone who has a business idea and it's based around their faith, but they're scared to step out there because they're scared of what the feedback or the pushback or
Mhm.
what people will think. What advice would you give to them?
So that's an amazing question, because one of the things that I would say, if man did not give it to you, then I wouldn't pay attention to what they say. If God gave it to you, I would pay attention to everything He says, because in order for you to get a gift such as that, because I Am a Testimony Apparel is a gift
Mm-hmm.
for me to take care of. So whatever the imagination, whatever the idea, if it's a God idea or if it's in your spirit from a point of being given to you as a passion, as a ministry, as a vision, as a dream, nobody else's voice matters. Only the Lord's voice matters, and follow that. And He chose you, because He not coming down here to do I Am a Testimony. I am. He gave me the idea to do it. So He chose me to have everything in me. The only five things I needed: the Spirit of God, wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and all manner of workmanship, which is creativity. Those five things, and that's one of my favorite verses. And so, if the Lord has chosen you, don't worry about nobody else.
There you go. There you go. Thank you again. It has been a pleasure. I definitely plan to have you back, especially when you drop your new collection, because we got to show it. And definitely when we getting ready for the for the show, so we can promote it. But definitely gonna have you back. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate you so much.
Listen, again, an honor, Tammy. I'm so proud of you. As you've made your moves and what you're doing in this journey, you keep on doing it, girl. And don't worry about no other voice but the Lord.
Thank you. You don't know how bad I needed to hear that. Yes, you did. That's why you said it. Yes, you
But I
did.
said
No, that's
that was a
that's
spirit. That was a spirit message.
that's why you said it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have
Absolutely.
all right. You have a great one. Mwah. Thank you, everybody, for joining me on the Curve Effect. And ladies, never forget that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Keep shining, and I'll see you next time on the Curve Effect.